Welcome back to the program. Exactly 3 years ago on this day, Al-Shabaab gunmen stormed Westgate High-End and the shopping mall in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, in one of the worst attacks by militant Islamics in East Africa. At least 67 people were killed and about 175 injured. Well, 3 years on, analysts say there are still questions that remain unanswered, like how many gunmen were involved and why the siege went on for 3 days. After the attack, President Uhuru Kenyatta promised to set up a commission of inquiry to help find answers. But nevertheless, Kenyans seem to be moving on and business has since returned to normal at Westgate. The security expert Festus Abwage joins us now from the Kenyan capital Nairobi for some analysis. Well, welcome to the program, Mr. Abwage.
Thanks for having me on the program.
Is there any remembrance by authorities for what happened at the Westgate 3 years ago?
Not that I'm aware of in terms of today. Actually, I haven't been out to the office. I've been at the office. I haven't been up and about town. So I'm not really aware of any special remembrance for the occasion.
Well, although you just mentioned that you haven't been out about town, but do you have an idea what the general mood at the mall is like today?
Well, in spite of being at the office, I chanced to be at the mall, I suppose, at about the same time that I had planned to be there 3 years ago when you called. The sense I got was that at that time of the weekday, there weren't that many people at the shop or at the mall. But I was told by one shop that normally it fills up a bit during the weekday from about 4 p.m. onwards, and definitely during the weekends it's normal.
So at the time of the attack, so many people blamed the country's security forces for their shoddy response. Has there been any inquiry into exactly what happened at the Westgate Mall over the 4-day siege? And if there is, what has been the outcome?
Well, I'm sorry I cannot speak to that issue because I've not been following the work of the Commission of Inquiry or any other public body that was established to investigate the event.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Abwage, for joining us on the program. Well, staying on in Kenya, a human rights organization in the country says that 3 women who were alleged to have attacked a police station last week in Mombasa were framed and killed unlawfully. Muslims for Human Rights says it has obtained a video of the alleged attack, which it says contradicts the police report about what actually happened. The police said that 3 women stormed the station on September the 11th in the guise of reporting a stolen phone, but later attacked a policeman with a knife and lobbed a petrol bomb at the station. But the video obtained by Muhuri shows at least one of the alleged attackers appearing to surrender before sounds of gunshots being heard. According to the rights group, this was another case of extrajudicial killings. The police, who are yet to comment on this, have detained 4 women alleged to be linked to the 3 women who carried out the attack. Meanwhile, Kenya's National Environment Tribunal has put a hold on the construction of a new railway line that will cut 6 kilometers through Nairobi's National Park after protests by conservationists. The section that activists say would threaten one of the country's oldest wildlife sanctuaries is part of the standard gauge railway network. This is an ambitious China-funded infrastructure project aimed at boosting trade and cutting transport costs across Eastern Africa. But activists say parts of the network are already under construction and the presidential launch is planned for late September.
When the southern bypass and the realignment of the railway was being done a couple of months ago, some of those animals were disturbed and they walked out of the park, and people actually found them in estates. Estates are more noisy, you might presume, But the animals preferred to go to the estates than to remain in the park when that construction was actually going on. This time, their dispersal area, because of the disturbance, will go far beyond the estates.
Away from Kenya now, aid agencies are estimating that at least 300,000 children in Somalia under the age of 5 are acutely malnourished following a drought in the country. This comes as the United Nations says the La Nina weather phenomenon is likely to worsen drought and hunger in the country, especially in the north, where many people and their animals are migrating in search of water after 4 failed rainy seasons.
Child malnutrition rates are soaring in parts of Somalia, where the harshest drought in decades has ravaged crops and livestock. Aid workers fear hunger will worsen, with further poor rains predicted. According to aid agencies, 4 failed rainy seasons in the region have left many families short of food. They estimate that at least 300,000 children in Somalia under the age of 5 are acutely malnourished, and over 55,000 are severely malnourished. An example is Ayana's baby, who at the age of 1 has stunted growth and weighs only 2.6 kilograms. She has been sick since she was born. She has never been well. I brought her here because she's unwell. Now she seems a bit better. She's playing for the first time. La Nina, characterized by unusually cold temperatures in the equatorial Pacific Ocean, is predicted to bring further hardship to swaths of East and Southern Africa already hit by the El Nino weather phenomenon. Meanwhile, the United Nations says 4 out of 10 Somalis, some 4.7 million people, already need humanitarian aid amid conflict between the Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab and the African Union-backed government. Undernutrition puts children at greater risk of dying from common infections, increases the frequency and severity of such infections, and contributes to delayed recovery.
And in Zimbabwe, the government has warned that citizens risk imprisonment for abusing the national flag amid a wave of anti-government protests. The Justice Ministry says those who bring it into disrepute face a $200 fine plus 6 months in jail. The statement also adds that nobody is allowed to sell the flag without prior permission from the ministry. The flag is being used as a symbol of the calls for change by protesters under the #ThisFlag movement. It was started in April by a pastor who wrapped a flag around his neck and in a video posted on Facebook called for Zimbabweans who were fed up with the perceived mismanagement of the country to stand up for themselves. And human rights group Amnesty International says an elite police unit in Nigeria has subjected people to hangings, mock executions and starvation to force them to confess to crimes or to solicit bribes. In a report released today, the rights group says a special anti-robbery squad holds detainees in several facilities near the capital Abuja, including one known as the Abattoir. Amnesty quoted several former detainees who alleged they were robbed of their belongings and tortured in custody by police officers. The police is yet to comment on this report. Network Africa continues in a moment. Please stay with us.